What's up, everyone? I'm Nick Cool. I'm going to give you guys a quick webinar on intuitive eating, comprehending your body's signs and symptoms. So here we go. Most people today are very unconscious of the negative choices that they're choosing that's leading them to feel like garbage, like crap. They don't feel well. They have unresolved digestive issues. They struggle with their quality of sleep and are always exhausted. So I help coach those individuals so they can start becoming aware of their body's signs and symptoms, which is the cheapest healthcare possible out there, their intuition. All right, so who am I? I am a holistic lifestyle coach. And to break that down into each word individually, holistic just means we take an integrated approach to treating people with dis-ease. So we may look at the nutrition, we may look at their movement, too much, too little, the types of foods they're eating, the quality of foods. We could look at their sleep, their happiness. Do they have a dream? Do they have a goal? Are they actively pursuing that? So we don't come at it just from one perspective. We know every aspect of the body affects every other aspect of it. We're a system of systems, okay? Just like you take a steering wheel off of a car, you can't drive it. No matter if everything else is perfect, it won't work. If we do one thing in our body, it affects everything else. Lifestyle is because 90 to 95% of all disease stems directly from lifestyle and environmental factors, okay? Your nutrition, your diet, your movement, the types of lotions and sprays you put on your body, EMF radiations, it goes on and on. And the coach aspect is because if you're like me, you've been to traditional doctors, they may write you a prescription and send you out the door. They don't actually help you in the journey. So a coach works with you throughout the entire journey to make sure you are making the adequate progress. So my approach, guys, and a lot of my training comes from Paul Chek's Holistic Lifestyle Coaching. We do not treat the disease that a person has, okay? The body wants to heal. So essentially what we do is we create balance within the individual, and then that brings the body back to health because the body wants to heal naturally. Okay, so if you create the right environment for the body, it's going to heal on its own. There may be some situations where you have to go get some medical procedures done, but the general population can heal significantly from just balancing their body. So how I wasted $20,000 on experts and still didn't heal. This one bites me, and oh God, it's tough. Because, guys, about 5 years ago, I was at this point in my life where I was like 25 years old. I want to look a little bit better. I want to lose that last little body fat. So I went on a ketogenic diet. I'm already a thin guy, but I want to lose that last little bit. So I went on a ketogenic diet. For those that don't know what it is, it's high protein, high fats, very little carbs. But in that phase, I was eating a ton of cabbage and a ton of peppers because A, that doesn't give you a ton of carbohydrates in your diet, it fills you up, and there's a thermogenic effect from the peppers, the capsaicin within the peppers, which is supposed to jumpstart your metabolism a little bit. So by doing that, I thought I was making the right choice because I was listening and reading all the correct articles, but my body wasn't responding the way I wanted to. As I continued to do this, I would get bloated. I'm like, all right, I'd get gassy. Some of it would smell a little raunchy. And as it continued on, it would go, I wouldn't be able to have a bowel movement for a day. And I wouldn't have the bowel movement for 2 days. And then it'd be 4 days. And my flatulence, my gas, I'm just going to say that because I can't pronounce the other word, started to get very smelly and almost embarrassing. So I wasn't paying attention to my body. I didn't know what was going on. I was eating healthy in my nutrition. There's no way my nutrition could not allow me to go to the restroom and to have this gas. So I was kind of confused on what was going on. So I went to some general physicians and they would look at it. I mean, they were probably in the room with me for 5 minutes and be like, all right, well, here's a medication. Take this, go get some medical grade laxatives. Think about that. Medical grade laxatives, guys. That is the top of the top. Like when you take this and you don't have a bowel movement, there'd be times I'd take it and I wouldn't even have a bowel movement. That's how clogged up and toxic I was. So this went on, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I'm eating healthy, and I'm doing everything I should be doing, and I'm not seeing results. It got to the point where I had to go get a colonoscopy. All right, so that's when they actually go up inside the colon to make sure there's no colon cancer. My grandpa had colon cancer, so that was like, I was a little nervous about that. I was frustrated. I was like, dude, maybe I have colon. I'm 20 or colon cancer. I'm 25. This shouldn't be me. Came back, that was perfectly normal. I was like, well, what is it? What's going on? Still didn't think it was my nutrition. Got blood work done. My testosterone was at an all-time low. I was at like 80 on like the scale, and anywhere between like 3 and 800 is normal. I was at 80. That's equivalent to an 80-year-old man, 85-year-old man. I had zero libido. I couldn't get an erection and maintain one. I had no drive to have sex or anything like this. It was horrible. There was actually one point where I went out to the bars with some friends, and it was jam-packed shoulder to shoulder. And I got this down to almost an art that if I would had a fart and I had that gas, I was really smelly, I would start at one end, fart, and just walk my way through the bar so no one could pinpoint it on me. So I did this in this one incident, in this one occasion, got my drink from the bar, and I turned around. It was a freaking scene out of a movie. Everyone's pointing at the other person, like, it was you, it was you. The shoulder-to-shoulder bar had a circle. It cleared a circle out, probably a 20-foot radius circle, and everyone was pointing their fingers. In hindsight, it's hilarious. Like, I think that's one of the funniest stories I have. But during that process, it was beating me up. So I had no idea what was going on with my digestive health, and I knew something was up, but it couldn't be my nutrition. I'm eating healthy. I'm doing what these professionals state, these articles. So it was troubling to me because I'm 25. I can't have a bowel movement. I'm not interested in sex. I can't maintain an erection. When is this going to end? Why is my life like this? All right, guys. So that was where I was at. So over the course of doing that, going to functional medicine doctors, general physicians, colonoscopies, the blood work, everything else that I did, some of the other testing I did, I wasted over $20,000. So I hope you get some takeaway from this so you don't have to go through the same thing, guys. It's not fun, nor is it cheap. So why intuitive eating, guys? Well, intuitive eating is cheap and it's effective. You're using your body's own intuition to heal yourself. And once again, the body wants to heal. You provide the right environment for the body, and the body's going to heal. So this one is geared more towards nutrition. There's a lot of things that go into healing yourself. There's stress that can affect your digestion, but I'm going to focus this one more on nutrition, and this is an introductory approach. So when looking at diets and all this research out there, guys, there is information all around us. Just go Google diets and you'll come up with like copious amounts of them. We got paleo, Whole30, carnivore, vegan, keto, Atkins, the SIBO diet, the autoimmune protocol, zone diets, intermittent fasting, and the free diets like soy-free, gluten-free, dairy-free, all of them. Here's the catch about these guys. There's research to back every single one of them up. So these articles will be like, yeah, look at this research. It says this, this, and this, and these are the effects of it. And this research, which is the complete opposite of this, says this works, and this works. So where the hell do you start? And that's why I preach being an intuitive eater, guys. Listening to your own body. There is not a single one-size-fits-all approach. And here's why. An individual named Weston A. Price, I believe, he wrote the book, something Degeneration, Nutrition and Degeneration. I can get back to you on that one. But what he did is he went to all these indigenous tribes that were not, that had no contact with the typical white man and some of the processed foods that we have. And here's what he noticed, guys. People from the polar regions, like very far up north and very far down south, like Inuits, their diet consisted of meats and fats. So fats and proteins, they seal blubber and flubber and all that, those animals. So their diet consisted of a lot of proteins, a lot of fats. They did not have a lot of vegetable matter in their diet because it just, quite frankly, doesn't grow when the ground's frozen for that many months out of the year. The vegetable matter that they did get from their diet was generally taken from the digestive tracts of the animals that they harvested. Then if we take a look at the other extreme, he looked at individuals in the equatorial regions, right around the equator, where it's very hot. In these regions, those individuals consumed a heck of a lot more carbohydrates, fruits, veggies, but they didn't have a lot of large game, so they didn't live off of like a ton of protein. So we have polar regions that live off a lot of fat and protein, and then we got the equatorial regions that lives off of a lot of carbohydrates and very little fat and protein. So some other variables to take into consideration is hot days and cold days. You will notice that on hotter days, you might be more geared towards some fresher fruits and like watermelon. People love watermelon in the summer. Okay, maybe in colder days, you get a lot more stews and bone broths and things of that nature that are more warm and hearty is what I think what I'm looking for. So there's a lot of things that influence what you should be eating and when. Your stress and activity level can greatly influence these things, along with your sex too. Those are all different considerations. Roger Williams also in his book, I can't think of it's biomechanical individuality, something right along there, just search Roger Williams. And he showed that we have, every single one of us individuals are completely different. My digestive tract from mouth to anus is completely different than someone else's. And what he showed is there's individuals that are more geared towards eating protein. They don't have as long of a protein and fats. They don't have as long of a digestive tract, where some of the other individuals have a lot longer digestive tract, which helps break down that the vegetable matter. So there's a lot of considerations, and it's where do you fall at in this continuum? Do you have a lot more carbohydrates and do really well off that? Or are you more of the protein and fats type and you do really well on that? Or are you somewhere in between? That's why I want to help teach you with this, so you can start pinpointing where you should be at and what foods are nutritious for you. So I'll tell you, not all foods are good for you. So why is intuitive eating so critical? All right, so think about health and your wellness on this continuum as well. You are very healthy and optimal up here, but as you go down, you get healthy, and then as you keep going down, your health gets worse. You start noticing symptoms, and you get these signs, and then you have disease, and you get ill, and then you're dead. And those symptoms come relatively soon before the disease happens. So, excuse me, what I have up here is your body gets hot before it gets cold. Your body gives you all these signs and symptoms before the disease actually sets in. So if you can start becoming aware of your signs and symptoms and fixing those, so you can start getting back to healthy, and then once you get to healthy, you can get to optimal, so you actually have like a little grace period before you go from optimal to sick and ill. One of my favorite quotes is from Paul Chek, one of my mentors, is if you can name it, you can tame it. In my situation that I was talking about earlier, I was having a lot of cabbage and peppers. And it wasn't until I figured that out that I could actually tame it. So I knew the cabbage and peppers were not conducive to my body. So once I cut it out and I tamed that, my body started to heal, start to come back, and I started to get that energy. And I was like, hell yeah, now I can go live life. I have libido. I'm 25 years old again. I can go out to bars and not worry about clearing the bar out. So I do love that quote. All right. So can you actually hear what your body is telling you? And your body speaks to you in so many ways, guys. I can't even begin to describe how many times. and how many different ways that it does speak to you. So we're going to name some of them, guys. All right. How do you feel after meals? Are you tired? Are you wired? If you're eating good food that's nourishing to your body, you should have a sense of energy. You should not eat a meal and then go have to crash. Like that's not, there's something off them. You crave sweets. Do you have headaches? If you have headaches, it doesn't mean you're deficient in aspirin. It means something's going on in your lifestyle. You're anxious, you're nervous, you're lethargic, pimples, acne. Do you need a snack every hour? Are you not staying full throughout the entire meal? I've actually noticed when my nutrition is off, my vision sucks. I have glasses that I wear that's a very low prescription. There's many days I don't have to wear them, and then when my nutrition gets off, it's like I can't see near as well. So I got to start putting my glasses on. No one would think that, but yes, it does. Dandruff and body odor are huge. If you smell yourself and it's like nasty smelling, that's your body's way of detoxifying itself, getting crap out of your system to start healing. Once again, bloated, constipation, gas, all of those are symptoms that your body that is unbalanced. Something's off in your lifestyle. So where to begin? Introductory approach. And I have an example here. There's a supplement company out there. It's called Pyrium. I'm not speaking ill of the company at all. Everything that they promote is certified organic. It's awesome. But I want to give you this example to just let you know, because about 2 months ago, I started taking Pyrium products. I was like, all right, yeah, they're awesome for you. It'd be nice just to have a green shake so I don't have to cook my meals. As soon as I started taking that, I started to get diarrhea. And once again, I was like, what is this? Why am I getting diarrhea? I shouldn't be getting this. Finally figured out and came to my senses. I was like, all right, maybe it's the supplements I'm taking. Even though they're all certified organic, they're all awesome for you. I got to the point where I quit taking their supplements and my body came back to normal. I was like, oh, that's weird. All right, awesome. So I tried their supplements again, their green drink, and it went right back to diarrhea. And it's like, how many times do I got to do this, Nick? Pay attention to yourself. So I quit taking it, and now my digestion has become a lot better. Once again, I'm not talking ill of the product. The product, they stand for what they promote, really good for you. But this is just an example of how me listening to my body, even now, has helped me out with those symptoms. Because most people would be like, oh, I'm taking this green drink, it's good for me. But I've had diarrhea. That's a way that you can pay attention to your body. So if you guys are watching the webinar, hit me up, email me, and I can get you the complete food log that I use to help people out. All right. So since you don't have this, I'm going to skip past number one. I can talk to you personally on that if you reach out to me. Number two, an easy way to become still and to start listening to your body is to limit your number of foods per day. I don't mean cut back on the calories or the amount of food. I'm just saying limit the number of foods. Instead of having pancakes with berries and jelly and jam or syrup for breakfast and a salad for lunch and spaghetti lasagna for supper, that's a ton of different variables. It's really tough to keep track of what's doing what. So if you could limit your foods to 3 to 5 foods per day, yeah, it might be a little strict and you might get bored of it, but in the long run, it's going to be awesome. So maybe for one day you have some sort of meat, you have some sort of carbohydrate, maybe some fruit and some fat in there. And you have that for every single meal, and you start recording how you feel after each meal. So that would be my number one recommendation, is limit the number. Number two is rotate your foods, okay? So if you have, let's say, those 4 foods the first day, don't have those 4 foods again for another 4 days. So if you have it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're gonna have something different. Then on Friday, throw those 4 foods back into your nutrition and see how you feel that day compared to the original day that you had them. Another thing that I'm going to preach to you guys is to listen to your body after each meal. If you have a meal, you should be feeling full, and that fullness should last for a while. You should not eat a meal and then have to eat again in an hour and a half. Something's off with your nutrition. It's not nourishing to your body if you have to continue to constantly put food in your mouth. And within the complete food log, I can give you some tips to, if you are getting hungry after a meal, that could be telling you that you should have more protein in your diet or more carbohydrates. Or if you get these anxious jitters after a meal, maybe that means something else. So reach out to me, I can get you that stuff. The other things I like to pay attention to is my sleep quality. How well are you sleeping? That meal that you had, was it too soon before you went to bed? Or was it not soon enough that you had a blood sugar spike in the middle of the night because your blood sugar dropped so low, and then your body had to release some insulin to compensate to bring it back up, yada, yada, yada. How's your sleep quality? 3 is bowel movements. I'm going to go into that in the next slide. And the 4th one for males, the one that I used a lot that I kept track of, is my libido and my morning woods. If you're not waking up with morning woods most morning, there's something wrong in your nutrition. You should be waking up with a healthy morning wood. And that's a huge indicator of your health. I noticed this really well because when I was in my prison, when I was feeling like crap and I had no libido, I wouldn't ever wake up with morning woods. But once you start getting your nutrition back in order, the morning woods came back, and it was awesome. Like some of the little things that you look forward to. All right, so Poopy Police. This one is one of Paul Chek's handouts. Got the link down there if you want to go actually Google and look at it. Yeah, just Google Poopy Police and it'll be the first one that pops up. But check with the Poopy Police. When you have a bowel movement, which you should every day, pretty much at the same time, it should look like the guy on the right over here. If you are seeing these bowel movements, something is off in your diet, okay? If you see food in your bowel movements, generally you have a food sensitivity going on. If you have diarrhea, that is your body's way of trying to detoxify itself and get the toxins out of your body. Some of the other ones you will get from like processed foods, poor quality water, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to go a little bit more in depth, take a look at that. But your poop should look like this. I always think about it is it should be intact. It should be pretty well put together. You shouldn't be able to see food particles in it. So some of my favorite tips for you guys, if you guys are on the webinar, once again, hit me up so I can give you some of the handouts for this. But otherwise, drink your solids, eat your liquids. It took me, I've heard this for so long, but I don't think I actually truly understood what this meant until probably about a year ago. What I mean by that is drink your solids, chew your food. The digestion process begins in your mouth when you start chewing it. You break it down. Your body starts preparing that it's got food coming in. So chew your food until it becomes a solid. The eat your liquids part is, I do this, I used to do this all the time with protein shakes. That's a different story, but I would just chug it afterwards. Eat your liquids means slow down, take some, set it down, come back, drink some more, okay? The other thing I'm gonna say is before you begin any meal, start with some big diaphragmatic breaths. So, it's gonna help calm your body down. It's gonna put you more in a parasympathetic state, which is your rest and digest process, the part of your body where you are more readily to break down the food and digest it appropriately. So if you can choose a location where you eat that is very calm to you, start with some breaths, eat in a calm environment. Don't go watch the news when you eat. All that's going to do is put you in a sympathetic state where you're not going to be able to digest and get the actual nourishing nutrients out of that food that you need. The other big one that I'm going to recommend to you guys is stay hydrated. You have to drink. A lot of times when people are hungry, they're actually not hungry. They're dehydrated. They're thirsty. One quick tip you can do is pinch the skin on the back of your hand. If it does not pop back into place right away, you're dehydrated. So I recommend drinking quite a bit of 8 to 16 ounces right upon waking up, about 10 to 15 minutes before meals and before you go to bed, okay? Water is vital to you guys. Make sure you guys are getting enough of it. If you want to go with half your body weight in ounces a day, that's a really good starting point. If you're working out, you're in hot environments, you need more. Some other environments, you're not as active. Cold out, you might not need as much. So once again, pay attention to your body. How do you feel? And all of you coffee drinkers that really need coffee in the morning to get going, I highly recommend having a big glass of water, maybe a pinch of sea salt, and a meal before you drink your coffee, and see if you actually want your coffee then. So I have a stick shift picture here. As you do this for the first day, it's gonna be very uncomfortable. It's gonna be like learning to drive a stick shift. Like, yeah, everything is just so mechanical, nothing flows, and it's a lot going on. But as you do this for a day, then you do it for a week, then you do it for a month, then you can quit cataloging. You're so much more into it and understand that your body, that you don't need to keep a catalog if you don't want to, of your signs, your symptoms, the foods that you're eating, your sleep, your morning bowel movements, your morning woods, etc. So give it time, guys. This is the cheapest healthcare you can get. So I appreciate you guys for following along, taking the time to pay attention. If you guys want to follow along with me on my journey and any other tips I have, go to my Instagram or Facebook page. It's Cool Fit. My website's at coolfit.com, or my Gmail if you need to reach out to me, coolfit@gmail. And if you want to set up something where we can go a lot more in depth and figure out your root cause and what it is that's calling you illness or dis-ease within your body, reach out to me, guys. We can set up a free consultation and see if we're a good fit for each other. All right? All right, guys, I appreciate that. Thanks so much for paying attention. I hoped you liked what you got.